Have you ever heard the expression a storm in a teacup? It's a common English idiom that can be confusing for beginner learners. Let me tell you a funny story about a student who misunderstood this idiom. One day, in my English class, a student named Lily heard the phrase and thought it meant a literal storm inside a teacup. Lily imagined a tiny tornado swirling around inside a delicate teacup, causing a big commotion. She was quite puzzled and asked, "How can a storm fit inside a teacup? That's impossible." The actual meaning of a storm in a teacup is very different. It refers to a situation that is made to seem much more serious or dramatic than it really is. It's often used to describe an issue or problem that is blown out of proportion. For example, you could say the argument between the two coworkers was just a storm in a teacup. It wasn't as big a deal as everyone made it out to be. Or the media is making a storm in a teacup about the new policy changes. It's not as controversial as they're claiming. To help you remember the meaning, think of a tiny teacup being overwhelmed by a massive storm. The storm seems much bigger than the small container can handle, even though the actual problem is quite minor. The idiom "a storm in a teacup" became popular in the English language in the 19th century. It highlights how people can overreact to minor issues, turning them into something bigger than they are. Interestingly, the phrase is sometimes expressed as "a tempest in a teapot," which is particularly common in American English. Some similar idioms include making a mountain out of a molehill and blowing things out of proportion. On the other hand, the opposite would be downplaying or minimizing the significance of a situation. For example, you could say the team's loss was just a storm in a teacup. It's not the end of the world. Or you could rephrase it as the team's loss was not as big a deal as everyone made it out to be. I remember one time a colleague of mine used the idiom "a storm in a teacup" perfectly in a meeting. She was discussing a minor issue that the management team was overly concerned about. And she said, "Let's not make a storm in a teacup over this. It's really not that serious." One common mistake is to say "a storm in a teacup" instead of "a teacup." Another misunderstanding is thinking the idiom refers to a literal storm inside a teacup, like Lily did. It's also important not to use the storm in a teacup to describe a genuinely serious or large-scale problem. Alright, let's test your understanding of "a storm in a teacup." 1. What does the idiom "a storm in a teacup" mean? A. A literal storm inside a teacup. B. A minor issue blown out of proportion. C. A large-scale problem. Answer B. I hope this lesson has helped you understand the meaning and usage of the English idiom "a storm in a teacup." Remember, mastering idioms like this can greatly improve your communication skills in English. So, what are you waiting for? Go out there and start using "a storm in a teacup" in your everyday conversations. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more English idiom lessons. Happy learning!